If you want to invent and license your bright ideas, then you are in the right place, because today I'm going to share one simple mindset that can change the entire trajectory of your success. Hi, Lloyd here with more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you optimize and accelerate your invention licensing business success. If you're new here or returning visitor, welcome. If you like this video, then please tell YouTube by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. It's a free way to support me doing this. And if you want more like it, then smash that notification bell to be the first to know whenever I post a new video. Winston Churchill said, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." Now, I will confess that the meaning was somewhat lost on me until recently. I mean, I get it, but how do you stay enthusiastic when you're feeling the feelings of failure? It just stretches my brain. But the other day I was working on one of my new inventions, and I'm in the R&D phase, and everything that I was trying wasn't working the way that I envisioned. I noticed that while it was frustrating, I was having a blast experimenting with all the different ways that I could make it. And then it hit me. I love experimenting. It's the only way to fail at something and have fun at the same time. When I'm sketching or cutting things up or molding or printing 3D parts, I'm having a blast, even when whatever I'm working on isn't doing what I want. I can feel the enthusiasm flowing through my blood, and studies even show that it is akin to a natural high. Think about it. When Churchill said that success consists of going from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm, he understood that failure is part of the process. But you also have to have what seems like maybe unrealistic expectations to others, because they can't see what you can see in your own mind's eye. So why is it so much fun to fail when we're experimenting with our ideas than when we're trying to license, for example, and maybe getting ghosted or that dreaded no thank you from some companies? Well, here's the problem. If you pin all your hopes and dreams on a specific outcome, the way that you think it should be or go, then you're likely to end up disappointed often. On the other hand, if you treat every single step with an experimental mindset, then it becomes playful and fun. It is no longer about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's about enjoying the journey, even when you are in the temporary and difficult moments of failure. Each moment becomes a teachable moment for you, and like any experiment, they are moments that we can learn from so that we know what to do next. Check out this quick clip from one of my appearances on CNBC's The Big Idea with Donnie Deutsch.
So take me from the moment you said, "Doop, I got this," to how'd you blow it up, how'd you keep your job, what'd you do?
Well, I have a theory, so to speak. When I hear no, I don't hear no, I hear not that way. So every time I tried to do something and the answer was no, that's not going to work, it didn't mean stop. It meant, okay, that's not the right way. So I started looking like I did with the hanger. When that was too expensive and it was going to be cost prohibitive, because I knew people weren't going to spend a lot of money for a barrette to put your hair in a French twist, I started calling manufacturers and asking them, what's the method? Back then we didn't have the internet. It wasn't as easy to find solutions to your problems. So I let my fingers do the walking. You remember the old phrase,
sure,
you're in advertising. Yep, and so every time I'd call someone, they would tell me what I needed to know for the next step. I didn't need to know the big picture, I just needed to act on what I knew at that moment. And as I moved forward, it unpacked the next moment, which unpacked the next moment. And just like you said, I lived in each moment, moment by moment, until 13 months later I had my first check for $20,000.
Now, you can catch that full interview by clicking here, as well as some others that I've done. But I wanted to illustrate that I've always allowed moments to unpack themselves and then dealt with them individually on a case-by-case basis. And I treat every one of them as the next experiment for trying new things to keep everything moving forward until the overall goal is met, even if it is not working the way that I thought it would, which is most often the case. I don't try to put square pegs into round holes. That's insanity to me. But learning the shapes has helped me to understand how to put the puzzle together. When you treat each and every step like an experiment, it becomes an opportunity to test and prove your hypotheses, and then either find out that you're right about it or wrong. And if you're wrong, it's an opportunity to learn and get smarter and better going forward. Perhaps it's with the product that you're currently working on, or maybe it's the next one. And this is where I see most people getting stuck and really disheartened. If you are really depending on making money from your idea, you have already switched gears from playful curiosity to desperation, which literally robs you of your creativity, which is most likely why you stay stuck there. In fact, studies show that desperation impedes your thinking. You become consumed by the moment and your immediate needs, right? You can't see the big picture anymore. I mean, think about it. You literally invented something from nothing, which proves how creative you really are. But when you feel that pressure to make money on top of it, all that creativity just kind of slips away and you feel stuck instead for solving those problems. Instead, we need to think about the entire path to market like it's one giant experiment. I personally do this with my life also, and it works. Don't just consider the research and development of your product as the only experimental phase, but the entire journey. I call them teachable moments for myself. Opportunities for me to keep learning and growing as an inventor and an entrepreneur. I get smarter every time there's a problem because I don't see them as the end of the road, but more like a fork that the universe uses to point me in the right direction. If you tell me that I can't do something, I'm going to ask why. Not because I necessarily need to change your mind, but so that I can change my mind. And once I understand the why, I begin to feel empowered with new information to try and get what I want another way. This, by the way, is why I won't just submit sell sheets to companies, but do everything in my power to have a real conversation so that I can get the feedback that I need to learn from. Honestly, I could tell you hundreds of stories about when I have felt stuck that I know that you can relate to when it comes to inventing and licensing. But rather than throwing in the towel, I learned from every one of those failure moments, treating each with an experimental mindset that gave me permission to keep trying with playful curiosity until I figured out what worked. And over $30 million in sales later, I can look back and say, it works. I haven't used as many examples as I do normally, but I just wanted to share it this way so that you can understand how to apply the experimental mindset with playful curiosity to whatever situation or challenges you're facing right now. I'll leave you with this. Anyone who really knows me will tell you that I'm the girl that always sees another way to do something. My family jokes that if I'm given two options, I'll find the third if those two aren't what I want. And that's not the same thing as talking someone into what I want at all. It's all about seeing the world as so much more than black and white and finding all the ways that meets the demands for all the constituents. In our case, the consumer, the users of my product, the manufacturer who makes it, the retailers and brand who have to sell it, and of course, me, and finding the meaningfulness that I'm looking for from it. All of that can only be done through learning by experiment. And remember, there's more than one way to skin a cat. This is why I invent. I think of all of the ways that it could be done and not just the one or first way that comes to mind so that I can choose the best way from all those options. It's why I create minimum viable models to show companies so that I can easily and more affordably learn and change based on whatever learnings I get from showing it to the right people. It allows me to fail fast and fail forward with good business decisions. So like I said, write this down and begin practicing the experimental mindset. When you treat it with the same playful curiosity employed when you were developing your new idea, you will not only improve your odds for success, but you're just going to have a lot more fun doing it. If you want to level up more of your invention licensing strategies, then book a free call with us to learn how I can help you. And if you like what you learned today, please consider sharing this video with others. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Dare to dream and imagine what's possible when powered by innovation.